Welcome to the Trees and Lines podcast, where we discuss fresh perspectives on utility vegetation management with your hosts, Phil and Tej. Don't forget to follow along on LinkedIn for the latest news. Now, let's dive into this week's episode.
Welcome back to Trees and Utilities, doing another episode of Trees and Lines 2025. We're here with Darrell Daniel from SMUD, who runs the UVM operations for SMUD. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Tej.
Yeah, no, this is great. We're excited to talk about what you guys are up to. My understanding of SMUD, and obviously I know some of your colleagues, I know Eric Brown quite well, is you guys have really done a great job with your right-of-ways, right? Like you're great risk managers, you're super diligent. Talk to us a little bit about, the structure of what you guys are doing, how you've achieved such great success with your right-of-ways. And what is happening over at SMUD that allows you to be super efficient and so well managed?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big parts of that is the colleague you mentioned, Eric Brown, coming into SMUD. I was fortunate to start at SMUD in 2009 as a contractor, working for Wright Tree Service at the time.
Okay.
And worked my way up through various contract positions and then into a work planner for SMUD, supervisor, and then now program manager.
Yep.
But Eric really brought, when he came to SMUD, a ever improving or ever evolving outlook of, hey, great, we're doing this, but how can we continue to improve? How can we grow? And make sure that we're staying affordable, because the only way that we're going to continue to survive, kind of like a tree, right? The only way that we're going to be able to adapt is to continue to grow, put on new leaves, new branches. We have to keep moving and looking forward. If we stay stagnant, we're not going to survive in this industry.
Yep.
So really having that outlook kind of at the helm of the department and pushed throughout the organization has gone a long way. And it's put into each of us the trust and confidence, each of the other supervisors, to carry that forward in everything we do. Of when we're looking at a contract, when we're looking at working with vendors, we're working with our customers or other departments. There may be a way we've always done this, but is there a way to look at it a better way to continue to improve?
Yep.
And make sure we're doing it in the most responsible way financially and obviously safely for our customers. SMUD is community-owned municipality, so obviously the customer comes first. We have to make sure that we're managing their money well, because we all are owned and overseen by them and the board that they elect.
Yep.
So really having that growth mindset in everything you do is how SMUD's been able to really be successful. The last about decade they've grown, because from 2009 when I started to 2025 working for SMUD, it is a significant change and improvement in how they manage their right-of-ways and how they do their work.
Yep.
It's not just, hey, worry about traditional, like what I call classic public utility, just-in-time type response, but it's how do we really make our right-of-way sustainable long-term? So when we're looking at it, we may be patrolling every year or every 2 years on a certain circuit, but how do we manage that circuit and give our foresters or our arborists out there that vision of long-term sustainability? Look at it for the next 10 years, 20 years. How do we manage that right away going forward and develop this kind of year-over-year plan?
Yeah.
So SMUD, I think, is the only public power utility that's a right-of-way steward accredited. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. We are. We just went through our mid-cycle audit. We had Mike Neal come out, and I got to lead that. It was a pretty good opportunity to get him out there, showcase some of the work that we're doing on our right-of-ways. And while SMUD does have a wire zone, border zone approach to most of our right-of-ways, being in the a significant chunk of our right-of-way being in the valley or the urban area of Sacramento, we also need to and have been working really closely with the community and the cities on, well, how do we expand that from the most kind of traditional look of mow the floor and maintain the edges? How do we make sure that we're really allowing for compatible vegetation, not just grasses and forbs, but some shrubs and in the right spots, trees in the right of way when they're able to be there. And I think we were able to show Mike that mosaic that we're trying to create, obviously to reduce fuel risk, ensure regulatory compliance, but also allow those compatibles to populate the right of way.
Yeah, good. So tell me about the accreditation. Why would SMUD pursue right-of-way accreditation? It obviously took time on the staff's part, right? And I'm sure there's an expense. So what's the value to SMUD?
Yeah, I mean, the first value is obviously the industry recognition. That's one of the biggest ones, is to be able to showcase our program that we are doing the right thing, obviously to the industry, but more importantly to our board and to our customers that, hey, the money that you're spending on your electric bill is not just going to maybe services you don't agree with, right? It's actually going to improve the canopy throughout our system. And right-of-way stewardship does a really good job in making sure that utilities are abiding by best management practices, not just kind of core, but some of the stretch goals to make sure you meet all of the requirements, which goes a long way. I mean, I got to present with one of our directors to our elected board on our IVM program, and one of the main components of it is that right-of-way stewardship accreditation and sharing with them what it took to get that. And they took significant celebration in us having that accomplishment. And I've personally been at many planting events with board members in which they share that with the community, that we are one of the only utilities and one of the only public utilities that has that and maintains that. So really getting that recognition is a big part. And then validating your program, that you're doing the right things, is another one, right? You want to know that you're doing a good job. And it's really easy when you work at the same 10, 15 people that they go, yeah, you got a good program, but until you get those outside eyes to help you figure out where to improve and to validate that you are doing the right things in the right spots, you're just going to keep doing what you've always been doing.
And Mike was one of the best ones to have come out and review.
What is SMUD's relationship with technologies, new technologies, AI? Like, how have you guys started to invest in that space?
Yeah, so when it comes to new technology in vegetation management, surprisingly, we are usually one of the first departments to bring technology to our executives and directors.
Okay.
It's surprising to me because we're not really a technology department.
Yep.
But we bring it up often and try to pilot new technologies and approaches to things. SMUD did start their own AI department. Essentially, they've got it's the robotics processing and automation department, and now they've added in the AI director to really take on how are we going to incorporate AI in our workflows and processes to gain efficiency, make it more affordable for our customers, but also not impact the labor force in a negative way.
Yep.
You know, we are in California. There's a lot of
it's
union
complex.
represented employees, and we want to make sure that they're along with us as partners.
Yep.
You know, SMUD leverages a lot of remote sensing. LiDAR is a big component of our transmission and distribution program.
Okay.
And then we have done some pilots with some drone vendors and some satellite vendors. And then we've brought in, Eric actually helped champion the gridware to get it into SMUD, which is a pretty neat technology advance for kind of early outage detection and kind of challenges there. So.
Oh, very cool.
We've been partnered pretty good in the veg space. We're trying to find some vendors that can really not just talk the talk with artificial intelligence, because what I've seen, I'm fortunate working at SMUD in that they paid for me to go back to school, get a bachelor's degree. You know, I come from a trade crew background.
Yep.
And then they paid for me to go to UC Berkeley for some AI programs.
Wow.
And very fortunate. I took that to try to AI is the future, right?
Yeah.
But what I see with a lot of companies is they claim, hey, we're going to use artificial intelligence, we're going to excel your program, we're going to do all these amazing things. And then you go through it, and it's really a basic model or a pretty basic program that isn't doing everything that's claimed. And so that's one of our biggest challenges is there's a lot of vendors out there that say, hey, we've got these great programs, this great artificial intelligence that will maximize, you know, your cycle or your risk and conditions-based program. And then when you actually partner and try it out. It's good, but it is not what it's claimed to be yet. So we're still looking for that kind of golden nugget of how to bring it into the veg space. I think some predictive analytics, especially storm response, is a great place for it. And we're piloting some of those, but we have not yet found that key, that golden nugget for us to go with.
They do some things on the low-tech side, too, if I recall. I remember walking down a right-of-way, and all the neighbors had wooden slats that were new. And if I recall, it was replaced because of the goats. You have an active goat program?
So we do.
Talk about that.
So we utilize a few different IVM contractors. One of the main ones that we use goats through is Sierra Integrated Solutions. They have a subcontractor, Capra. We use grazing where we can't use herbicide, property owner restrictions or site restrictions. Grazing goes a long way. One, it helps control the vegetation. Eric and I were actually just on a field visit the Friday before we flew up in one of the main grazing sites. But really also where it helps is in a PR and partnership, so community and agency partnership. So a lot of the counties and cities around us in Sacramento County, they use grazing for their land management. And so we actually end up using the same vendor, and we can kind of partner in spaces, and it helps foster a relationship between us and those local jurisdictions, as well as the community. I can't even tell you the number of times the kids go out to see the goats. Right? They want to take pictures with the goats, try to feed the goats. Really, it helps go a long way, especially when they see, hey, SMUD is using these to help control the incompatibles. There are unique challenges with that tool, just like every other tool.
Efficiency must be one of them.
Efficiency can
Controlling,
be, because you got to fence them all in. You have to have a shepherd there. You have to have guard livestock, right? So, or guardian dogs for the livestock. And then if you have sensitive species, so elderberry is a big protected species in Sacramento County, the goats will completely decimate it, right? So you've got to have extra exclusion zones for those. Keep them out. Goats will eat almost anything if it is what is there and everything else has been taken up. So you've also got to be careful of property damage. So if they get out, what are they going to get to? Are they going to eat that backyard neighbor's prized garden? So
are you guys, help me understand this, like based on the legislation, do you have no herbicide at all?
We utilize herbicide. We need customer buy-in typically. So with a lot of the agencies, we do have it, just depending on the site. Forest Service, we've got good partnerships there, but we also have a lot of easements that are privately owned parcels. And so if a customer says, I don't want any herbicide here, we've got to find alternative ways to control that brush, and hand cutting it every year when some of it's eucalyptus that'll resprout 14, 15 feet after you cut it without treatment. So you need something other than sending in a line clearance qualified tree crew to cut that down every single year.
What do you think, you're a young guy, you have a very progressive way of thinking about things. What do you think is, at the utility level, at the executive level, the biggest misconception of like vegetation management, utility vegetation management? Like when you are operating and you end up having conversations with decision makers and people that are giving you the capital to do your work, where do you feel like they have misconceptions of the work or the risks?
Yeah, I think there's really two that kind of, I don't know, keep me awake at night or that I want to change. And we've done a good job at SMUD getting a lot of our leadership aware, but the first one is having a strong understanding of the work, or at least the skill set it takes to do the work, right? It's not just send a person with a chainsaw and start cutting stuff. There's a lot more to it. Especially when you want to manage the customer and the agencies and all the regulations. So really getting them to understand, hey, this is not just cowboys out there with chainsaws anymore. There's a lot more knowledge base that needs to go into it to make sure we're doing the right work at the right time. And then that kind of second part with the challenges that I see at the leadership level is understanding that trees continue to grow. So Eric has a presentation tomorrow that will
Yep.
showcase a lot of the work we've done in our right-of-way for wildfire risk reduction and even regulatory compliance. And it's fantastic work. Hundreds of thousands of trees that were risk are now mitigated in various ways. And we can show that very well. But what people don't understand is we still have to maintain those right-of-ways. It's not go clear this all, and I don't mean clear, go convert this to a compatible right-of-way, and then walk away from it, and you're done forever.
No, it's an iterative management.
It is, and a lot of what I see leadership across the utility space is they think it's kind of like a pole. You put it in, and it's there. It's good for 30 years.
You don't have to think about it.
Walk away from it. In some areas, you might have to go check that next year, and then the year after, and after you've done a few sessions, it starts to spread out.
Right.
But your investment, that, let's say, $4,000 for that span, it may be only $1,000 the next year, and then a few hundred, and then it starts to really become a lot less, get closer to zero. But trees continue to grow, it will never be at zero. And I don't think that leadership widespread understands that. They just think, hey, go clear it and you're done. And that poses a big risk because they want their money back in follow-up years.
Yeah. It's an interesting, return on investment model, or bringing those worlds together and still managing, customer expectations, system risks, that sort of deal. So, that's pretty interesting.
I think about your relationship with the Forest Service, because that seems to be unique in the industry. That has to come from years of building a relationship and trust. Some of the things I've seen you do have been, where you've even moved that edge zone off the right-of-way. And usually the land agencies wouldn't let utilities do that. Okay. You've achieved it because you have a relationship with them, obviously.
Yeah, SMUD has been very fortunate in that our forest ranger has been the same one for quite a long time. There hasn't been a lot of movement. There has been at the supervisor level, but at least our local ranger has been
You have a lot of
consistent.
continuity.
And then we meet with them very regularly to show them what we're trying to do. And as long as we're trying to do the right thing and have that forest health and watershed mindset of how can we partner that in with utility reliability and safety, and make sure we're explaining that with him every time we go to meet with him. If like, hey Don, this is what we want to do, and how that relates to forest health, and what can we do for you while we're out here? And we've gone 300 feet in each direction in some cases on their property, well outside our right of way, in a partnership with them, because they know, hey, we're out here to do our work in a manner that supports both of our goals, not just what we want.
Well, listen, I appreciate your time today. Congratulations on the success that you guys have had. I think you've set a great standard for the market, and best of luck in the things that you're working on.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It was great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you too.
Great to
good
see
seeing
you,
you
Phil.
again. Thanks for joining us today. Follow us on LinkedIn for updates and to tune in again to the Trees and Lines podcast.